What's up, guys? We're back. 1 second of silence for episode 9. Now, so this is episode 9 of Danmachi season 2. There are some changes. There are some differences. There are some things that are awesome and things that are different and things that are a little slightly disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that we need to talk about before we get too into this is the final fight does not happen in this episode.
No, it's really surprising they decided to break it up so we're going to actually get the end of this arc in the next episode.
Which I was fine having it like that, but I do think the pacing of the 7th book has been somewhat inconsistent. I feel like they rushed some parts and they dragged some... drag parts.
Like, for instance, like the first episode for this arc is really like... You know, there's parts of it that are really good. There's parts of it that are a bit rushed or just left out. Last episode was great. Probably, I think I agree with the one comment that somebody made that like last episode was probably like the best depiction of the source material that we've gotten from this season. But yeah, this episode kind of goes off the rails again. But like you said, there's some things that are still good or like fine, but most of it's a little underwhelming for me. I would say probably the big highlight for me, I don't know about you, but the big highlight for me was seeing Freya and the potential march that they will have in the next episode.
Always drinking wine.
Yeah, which I really want to see her walk up on Ishtar's door, just stir that one last sip before she just kicks down the door.
She does more than kick down the door.
Yeah.
No spoilers, but that was really. I think that was well placed or put in the overall part of the episode. I liked where they placed that part. Mm-hmm. Additionally, we get to see. Well, this is totally not what I was going to say, but we get to see more of Freya's family. Actually, we get to see Alan. Yeah. We get to see more people that really, I don't know in the books if they had a team come.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was that big. Maybe it was
because it was like 25 people that you like pan to, and there's one girl with like a staff. I don't know, she's an elf or something.
I would say the big thing that I was looking for. Well, I mean, there was several things, but like just out of what I was looking forward to that we ended up getting in this episode. The biggest letdown I think for me was the fight that Mikado has, which that is hands down probably my biggest disappointment so far out of the season, just because that is her crowning moment in the entire series. That's the one thing where you're that character, badass, and we didn't really get that. I mean, we got it, but it's kind of similar, but slightly different. I feel like it's really different, but I don't remember it too much to the extent. I do remember the expulsion of mana or MP, but I remember there being a lot more ninja stuff, a lot more hand-to-hand stuff in there.
Yeah,
her deflecting things. I mean, there was a lot of stuff that did play out in the book, but it missed a lot of the content of that fight.
So they have a flashback scene which she's adorable in, where she's like, you have the ninja skills, so you must use them, blah, blah, blah. Yes. You gotta do the unexpected.
Search your feelings.
Find
it or will.
Exactly. So it's, Eastern philosophy, ninja stuff. But I feel like one of the things that the book really displayed is, actually what her ninja skills are and, how cool she is. In this scene, she does, or in this episode, she does ambush some people. But I feel like the way they chose to explain her ninja skills was kind of weird.
Yeah, and I also love the inner dialogue that they give her, which I wish they would have highlighted a little bit somewhere in the episode, because I really do like how she's probably the most skilled with weapons and stuff out of their familia, but she chooses not to use part of those skills because she thinks it's a little dishonorable, but she does it in this case because it's a life and death scenario, her family's on the line, or people that she thinks is her family. So it's a little disappointing not to see that. On Bill's side, it's a little disappointing as well. I do like the
firebolt scenes.
The firebolt scenes are pretty cool. The beginning part of the episode with Bell, I think, is pretty good, but it kind of derails a little bit. When he comes up with a friend, although I will say there is one scene where she just backhands the firebolt. What is this firework? Pathetic. I do like that. I mean, that's a good example of power, but overall, like, there's some things in there that are a little, like a little bit could have been better, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what it is with Danmachi. You know, when we criticize other shows, they're really garbage and we're, like, sugarcoating it sometimes. But I think for Danmachi, we never really doing that. It's just things that they could have done better. It's, you know, it's out of love for the show more than, like, the show sucks.
Yeah, like, it's still good. Like, it's still, like, you know, if you were just watching the show, like out of pure enjoyment, still a good episode. You know, there's still a good amount of action. There's still a good amount of, you know, plot things going on. I think they divide the time still, like, between different characters, you know, whereas, like, you know, we're seeing, you know, Hestia and, you know, the people with her come into the pleasure court.
His chastity is at stake, which I can't say that word, but it was a good line by Hestia.
So I like that they're showing them get there. You get, like we said, you know, you get Freya coming into that, and then you also get, you know, the back and forth between Mikhail and Bell. So, like, that balance of stuff is good. It's just some of the stuff they chose to highlight with those characters, or, like, you know, some of the scenes didn't quite correlate.
How Karaheim's scene played out was a little weird to me. But, you know, there's some things that are inherently going to be different when you translate a book or, you know, adapt a book to a show. Mm-hmm. And I feel like some of the, I don't know, it sounds kind of cheesy, but some of it, you like what you imagine in the book and, like, how you imagine things to be. Regardless of what you do, you're kind of going to be disappointed. You know?
Yeah, because, like, you visualize it the way you want it to be, you know, even if, like, they don't specify it. So, yeah, you're definitely going to get that. That's why, like, you know, when we talk about it, this is, like, obviously not our full review of the season, like, you know, looking at it from a critical way. This is mostly, like, our opinions, you know, looking at it, just how we feel out of the initial watch. So, you know, like, obviously, that's how I feel. I don't think that will, you know, that may go into a little bit of it, but, you know, I would try to keep that out of, like, our main review, just because. Oh, also, the battery's about to die. Okay. So we should finish this up. Definitely, you know, problematic episode, but I think they can bounce it back in the next one depending on it.
Yeah, like we said previously with another episode, it really depends what the next episode is, and then we could go back and kind of, like, analyze how they did 9 and what they left out, and, you know, etc. So.
Yeah. So because we could disappear at any moment, we probably will just end it here. So let us know what you guys thought, and we'll be happy to talk more. In the comments or anything. We'll be around, and stay tuned for the full season review. And the next, like, 4 episodes.
Yeah, that too. All right.
Sorry.
Later,
Addicts. See ya.